The next question is, for us, is lobbying legal? Lots of people think, lobbying, I'm not so sure about that. Isn't lobbying what people do in Washington, D.C.? There are those lobbying firms, those law firms on K Street, and they go and they influence government officials about ways to vote. Is that legal? And more importantly, is that legal for those of us who are involved with nonprofit organizations? And the answer is a resounding yes. Not only is lobbying legal, but I feel that advocacy and lobbying are part of the democratic process, and it's actually important for each one of us to make a commitment to be an active lobbyist and advocate for the arts. However, as far as 501c3s are concerned, nonprofit organizations, not all nonprofits are created equal when it comes to lobbying and advocacy. So let's talk about some of the rules and regulations. Okay. So what's legal and what's not for a 501c3 not-for-profit? It is absolutely legal for you to educate your legislators and candidates on issues. It's legal to survey your legislator and candidates on issues, including their support for the arts. It's perfectly legal to conduct nonpartisan get out the vote and voter registration drives. If you're on the board or a staff of a nonprofit that's a 501c3, absolutely, you can be involved in any of the above. You can canvass the public on issues. You can do community-wide surveys. It's really easy to survey people in the age of SurveyMonkey and other survey platforms. And let's do it. It's legal. It's legal to work on ballot measures. We'll talk a bit more about ballot measures in a bit. Basically, 501c3s can spend up to 20% of their annual operating budgets on direct lobbying. And if you think about it, that's a lot, because the most common way to spend money on direct lobbying is to hire a lobbyist, and not many of us actually do that. Now, that's all about 501c3s. There's another kind of a not-for-profit recognized by the Internal Revenue Service, or the IRS, and that's a 501c4. And those nonprofit organizations are actually set up just to do lobbying, and they can spend 100% of their budget on lobbying. They don't, however, enjoy the tax-deductible status that 501c3s have. But 501c4s can endorse candidates. That's definitely something that a 501c3 can't do. A 501c4 can endorse, but be careful about endorsing, because it may not be to the benefit of your organization to take a public stand on endorsing a candidate over another. A 501c4 can also create a political action committee, an affiliated 527 organization that actually writes checks to candidates. So not only can a 501c4 endorse, they can also write a check to a candidate. So back to 501c3s, you absolutely cannot, if you're a 501c3, endorse a candidate. I can't express that enough. It's illegal, and you'll get in trouble with the IRS if you do that. You cannot, on behalf of a 501c3, make a campaign contribution in the name of the 501c3. You cannot have any expenditures on behalf of candidates. You can't rent your mailing list to candidates, and you cannot ask candidates to sign any pledges on any issue. Staff members of 501c3s also have to be careful. You cannot speak or write publicly for or against a candidate during an event that your 501c3 is sponsoring. If you're at an event representing your nonprofit arts organization or any kind of nonprofit 501c3, do not speak or write publicly for or against anyone running for public office. It's illegal. So you can't write or speak publicly in a newsletter, in any of your publications. You can't even wear a political button at a public event when you're representing the organization. But you can, as a private citizen, Work on political campaigns outside your work hours. You can even take vacation or personal leave to work on political campaigns as a private citizen. So advocacy, I really want to stress, is a critical function of nonprofits. I believe that 501c3s need to adopt advocacy as a way of life. Always thank your elected officials for your public sector arts grants. Illustrate how support of the National Endowment for the Arts or the Indiana Arts Commission or your local government entities serves the constituents of your elected officials. Always thank them. Survey them on their opinions about arts funding and policy and hold candidate forums. And I would ask, is advocacy included in your not-for-profit's strategic plan? I hope it is. And I hope that you work on that strategic plan every day and include advocacy. It's very easy to do that. Invite elected officials to your organization's events. Acknowledge them and their support to your audiences. Thank them in public. They will appreciate that. And it's important for your audience members to know where some of the funding for your organization's events and programs is coming from. So please remember to do that.